Okay, so if I was lucky enough that you were listening to me and you said to me, Charlie, give me some secret about being really good at calculus, I would say one key skill that seems to be um, underspoken and underused is the ability to rewrite things in a form that you can see better. So let's look at this first equation. The first equation is y equals 5 halves x squared, or 5 over 2x squared would be a better way to say it, sorry. And I'm admitting to you that in this form, I'm having a hard time differentiating it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this form into something that makes more sense to me. I know a couple of rules. I know how to use the power rule, right? I know how to use the constant multiplier rule. What else do I know? I know the constant rule. Maybe we started the product rule, possibly the quotient rule. I don't know, but I have some things that I can use. But this, in the way it is, a lot of people, as a matter of fact, look at this and they're like, oh, this is a quotient rule problem. Well, actually, it's not. So look at this and tell me if this isn't true. I'm going to take this here, this 5 halves. You see it? I'm going to take that. I'm going to rewrite this as 5 halves. And this x squared here, I know that I can bring this up. It's in the denominator, so I can bring this up as a negative exponent. X to the negative 2. And now I think I can use the power rule here. So what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to multiply this, right? This times this. So this is just me using the power rule. So negative 2 times 5 is negative 10 halves. So negative 10 halves, right? So also note that I'm going to decrement this by 1. So it's going to be x to the negative 3rd power. You see where I got that, right? Got that. And now I'm just going to simplify this whole thing. That is to say, I know this, that negative 10 over 2 is negative 5. So my simplified form is negative 5. I know that x to the negative 3 is, right, I can take the reciprocal of that and get rid of that negative exponent, x to the 3rd power. So here's my derivative, right? Equals y prime. Okay? I'm not pretending this is super complicated, but tell me how you would have started here. What would you have done here? I mean, can we agree that this would be really hard to differentiate in the form that it's in? So just by rewriting this, this became, well, ridiculous, because as soon as we got to here, you didn't care anymore. You probably weren't even listening to me anymore. So at what point was it that you were listening and you were like, oh my God, that's it. That's all I needed to know. This is it. This is all you need to know. So let's take a look at a couple more. Some of them are not quite as obvious. So let me go with a couple that are not quite as obvious. How about this one here? Y is equal to square root x over x. I can rewrite this a couple of times. I think, you know what? Let's rewrite this a couple of times. One way I'm going to rewrite this, I'm going to do a couple rewrites here, I think. I'm going to take this as y is also equal to x to the 1/2, isn't it, over x to the 1st power. Isn't that right? And then from here, we know the rules of exponents. So this is x to the 1/2 minus 1, which is 1/2 minus 1 is equals x to the negative 1/2, doesn't it? Right? Isn't it true that if I went through all this gyration here, I could get to this? So I'm going to erase this, but everybody see how I got here? If you want to see it, this is x to the 2/2 down here, and 1/2 minus 2/2 is negative 1/2, isn't it? So there's that. Now I'm just going to use the power rule. I'm going to do this. Negative 1/2 times 1 is negative 1 over 2, isn't it? And then x, and then I'm going to decrement by 1, right? When we use the power, we reduce by 1, so minus 1. If you don't mind, I'm going to take this 1 out and put it in as 2 over 2. Still 1, just easier for me to see. And negative 1/2 minus 2/2 is negative 3/2, so x to the negative 3/2, right? Simplify this. This comes up as its reciprocal, doesn't it? And we get, let's take a look at it, negative 1/2, just so you can see where I'm getting all my stuff. So negative 1 over this 2 is this 2, x to the 3/2. If you wanted to, you could take this as negative 1 over 2, right? This is square root x to the 3rd power. where this 2, whoops, sorry, where this 2 right here is this one, right? And this 3 right there is this one right here, right? You have to ask your professor how he or she prefers you to write that, but these are the ways. And again, we again have, this is our y prime. So again, from here, I'm struggling, man. I admit it, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do with this. This is not in a very good form for me to differentiate out of. Here, I just found a way. I looked at it for a second. I simplified it. After I simplified, I realized what I have, right, is this piece right here. And then I start my differentiation process and differentiate. All right? I don't know how long we've been at this. Let's do just a couple more, though, just to see if we can. Here's one that's not difficult, but you have to think about it. F of x is equal to 3 over the quantity 2x cubed. First thing I would do here is, anybody see where we could screw this up? What I'm concerned that we might screw up here is to forget that exponents are distributable over multiplication. So what we really have here is 3 over 2 cubed is 8x cubed, isn't it? So we can bring this out as 3 over 8x, right? Now we can start our process here. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 over 8, 9/8 x squared is equal to f prime at x, isn't it? Okay. Just like you, I'm seeing these for the first time right now. I didn't do any of these in advance, so check all my math, but I think my math is good. Real quick check. Oh, anybody see it? Well, I looked at it, I was like, something's not right here. Something's not cool. Sorry. Really sorry. That's embarrassing. Don't tell anybody. It's our secret. Right, this is negative, isn't it? This is negative, so it comes up this way. This would equal negative 9 over 8, wouldn't it? Then you'd have to decrement this, so take one more away from you get x to the negative 4th. So our final simplified answer would be negative 9 over 8x to the 4th power, wouldn't it? All right, I think we did it right. Check it. If I screwed it up, that's what the comments are for. Okay, you guys, good work.